Sex, money, and politics. You find it all at Miami Beach's Club Madonna. But abuse of government power, charges of extortion, it all sounds like the plot of a movie or a dime store novel. But CBS 4 I-Team investigator Stephen Stock discovered it's not fiction, but the facts of a Miami-Dade Ethics Commission report on the actions of Miami Beach's City Commission.
Come on. Strippers, money, alcohol, and the Miami Beach City Commission. All of it mixed together in backroom deals discussed in this ethics report concluding Miami Beach officials improperly intertwined city business with a personal lawsuit. The fight began after Miami Beach's City Commission decided not to allow alcohol at Club Madonna back in 2004. A major opponent in that public battle
I want to commend Jane Gross
was this woman, Jane Gross, seen here at a City Commission meeting to discuss the issue.
Right now, the issue that we have at hand.
Jane Gross happens to also be the wife of this man, Saul Gross, a Miami Beach City Commissioner. On the street and in City Hall, Jane Gross became an outspoken opponent against Leroy Griffith, Club Madonna's owner.
She's saying that I was a tax cheat. I had underestimated my income tax by $2 million, that we caused prostitution.
Believing that Jane Gross went too far, Leroy Griffith filed suit for libel.
I filed a libel suit against her for the remarks that she made.
After filing the suit and after asking City Commission to reconsider allowing alcohol at his strip club, Griffith says a member of the city attorney's staff approached him.
He told me that they were not going to hear it unless I would drop the lawsuit against Gross's wife.
That's exactly what the Ethics Commission investigation found. Quote, the evidence suggests the City Commission pushed their collegial bonds over the ethical line. Former Miami Beach City Commissioner Luis Garcia Jr. remembers it the same way.
Leroy we had to drop the lawsuit against the city.
Before the city would even consider hearing him on the alcohol.
Correct.
I dropped the lawsuit so they would drop it and go and have the ordinance heard.
That's the ordinance preventing Leroy from serving alcohol at Club Madonna. Then, a twist. The Ethics Commission report shows that Assistant City Attorney Gary Held contacted Leroy Griffith, and Griffith discovered that the stakes and the cost of doing public business in Miami Beach just got higher.
Gary Hill told me if I don't pay the $30,000 attorney fees the second time around, they wasn't going to hear it. I wouldn't pay it. They didn't hear it.
Why $30,000? That's how much it cost Jane Gross, a private citizen, to hire an attorney to defend herself against Leroy's libel suit.
The essence of it was, first, the lawsuit needed to be dropped, and secondly, after that was the $30,000 to Jane Gross in attorney's fees needed to be resolved before things could move on.
Those accounts are backed up by former City Commissioner, now Florida State Representative Luis Garcia Jr.
It was implied that if Leroy wouldn't pay for the Gross's expenses,
The city wouldn't hear his
the city wouldn't hear it,
So it was implied that Leroy needed to pay those attorney fees for Jane Gross.
Correct.
In excess of $30,000.
Whatever the amount was.
And then there's this. The Ethics Commission's report received almost no attention outside City Hall, but it raises troubling questions about the actions of these public officials. Quote, it appears very likely that Commissioner Gross, along with other city commissioners, engaged in wholly inappropriate behavior by linking and conditioning the payment of Mrs. Gross's legal fees to the settlement negotiations between Griffith and the city.
I think his conclusion was that at minimum it created an appearance of impropriety.
This is your wife's private business that was done in executive session on the public dole. Doesn't that concern you?
I'm not going to discuss it with you.
After attempts to get explanations both by telephone and email failed, the CBS 4 I-Team tried to get answers from Commissioner Saul Gross during a lunch break at City Hall.
I didn't create any linkage whatsoever, and I feel that all of my actions have been totally proper.
City Attorney Jose Smith, himself a city commissioner during this fight with Leroy Griffith, agrees with Commissioner Gross's assessment.
Because Mr. Griffin, on behalf of Club Madonna, linked all the issues, and the city at that time was considering an overall holistic settlement of all of the litigation.
It is extortion. I mean, if somebody tells you that they're going to hear city business unless I'm paying $30,000, that's extortion.
It wasn't pay the money and you'll get what you want. It was you just need to pay that money for access, which is as bothersome as anything, is because access is supposed to be there for all people.
We left messages on Jane Gross's phone, but she did not return our calls for comment. The Ethics Commission did not take any action against city commissioners in Miami Beach because the commissioners acted on advice of the city attorney's office. As for Assistant City Attorney Gary Held, mentioned in our story, he would not comment about our investigation. And as always, you can go to CBS4.com to get the full story.
Oh, jaw-dropping stuff here.
It's unbelievable.
Did he ever get his license?
He didn't get his license. He didn't pay the money. He still hasn't been heard.
All right. Thank you, Stephen.
You bet.